off a plane. Never hopped in a Range, I hopped in a Uber. Straight to the stage, but I stopped at a break, big belly like Buddha. Metabolism slowing down, but the bars ain't. Go hard, but the flow so blasé. From the east to the west, no Kanye. Crowd went nuts when I stepped in the park.
Moving, keeping it moving. What are we doing if we ain't moving? Hey.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first ever show where we're talking about football, watches, and anything that's happening today. My name's Henry.
And my name's Kieran, and this is Broad Talks. So this is the first ever episode, and I wanted to make it special, legend, bring on the Dun Dada, El Chapo, man like Ian Wright.
Yes, here he is.
Yeah, man. How you doing, H?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, man. I'm good.
Thanks for having me on the first.
We're honoured to have you on.
No, man, I'm pleased to be on the first. It's nice, you know. Got a lot of love for you.
100%.
I like the name Broad Talks.
You like it, innit? The way we reversed
man,
it.
you done well with that.
Yeah,
100%.
It took us a long time to come up with that.
It did.
Honestly,
we was there, we was texting each other saying, what name can we do with Broadwalk and Broad Talks? And it was Andre.
Yeah, so BTS Andre, the man behind the cameras, came up with it in the end. So we have to give him ownership there.
Yeah, 100%.
We have to give him ownership
Broad
on
Talks
that.
is cool, man.
Yeah, for real. How you been? All right?
Really good, man. You know, it's been a good, coming off of the back of everything, and how things have gone the last couple of years. But then football's fortunate to be able to continue to thrive in such a terrible time. So it doesn't really affect you. But it affects you when you're trying to do it because you ain't got no fans in the crowd. But now the fans are back. But in respects of my life and it hasn't really troubled me. And you got to just thank God for that kind
100%.
of stuff. So
100%.
then what happens is just you just get on with it. Unfortunately I lost my mum in December, which was but it happens. You know what I mean? She's getting on, and so apart from that kind of stuff that comes and it kind of shakes you up a bit because it gives you a little bit of a, something. And you just clasp down again and just realize, man, life's a living and get on with it and be happy.
100%.
And so it's been good. It's been really good because sometimes people are afraid to say things are good because like if you're in a position like I'm in, so I'm quite privileged to continue to work and that a lot of people can't.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm not happy that everything's going well because I work hard to go
100%.
well. So
Got to be positive about everything.
well, you always have to be positive, Henry, because like the fact is, tell people how it is. When people say how you doing, if I don't feel good, I say you're not too good. If I'm totally honest.
And that's what I think. For me, I always loved you as a character. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, massive Arsenal fan.
Me too, by the way.
Do people know that you're a massive Arsenal fan?
Not because who did we have on the show? No one. No one knew.
No one knew.
Sorry, Joel.
Yeah.
You done well to
Joel.
keep that quiet.
Yeah. Bruv, quick story. When I was 14 years old, I went on trial to United. Bruv, I went up there in an Arsenal shirt, bro. Honestly, they said to me when I turned up, it's like, bro, you can't wear that shirt up here, bro. I was like, bro, this is my team. I'm repping it. You know what I'm saying? But no, it was all good. So when you was younger, who did you support?
You know something? You say support, but the first team I ever saw, it probably have to go down as support, was Millwall.
Was it Millwall?
Because I was 9. And I used to have to go and stay with my aunt in Deptford.
Yeah.
Every other week we'd go down to Deptford and my mate Patrick Dias, his name was, he used to play, he's funny, his brother Danny Dias, who unfortunately passed away, he was my first ever strike partner when I was like 14.
Yeah.
And I played in the older team. And so we used to go down to Deptford, we used to sneak into Millwall. And I remember
the den.
The den, man.
Was it den? It was
the
den,
old den, yeah.
Old den.
Yeah.
And I remember it was amazing, man.
Yeah.
It really was. I remember Gary Neville mentioned something about it. When you see your first football pitch, first time you walk up the stairs and see your first football pitch, it never leaves you. It never left me, Millwall. So I have to probably say Millwall's the team that got me saying, I want to play football on a pitch this big.
Was that the closest team to from your area? Same as me, because I'm from New Cross.
Right.
So Millwall was behind my house.
See?
Yeah, so it was mad, because I used to live in New Cross opposite the bus garage. And my closest team was Millwall, but I never supported Millwall. It wasn't really my thing.
It's funny because I didn't support any team until I first went there. And like I said, I was like 9. Because my first favourite player that I had was like Barry Kitchener. He's a defender. But like, when I went there, that's when I thought, yes, this is probably my team because it's your first team. And then as time went by, you know what I mean? It went by, you know what I mean? It's funny because when I started to play for Palace, and then plus because the amount of shit you used to get and rubbish you used to get from Mill, you kind of lose the love of the actual
game.
Actual club. I will never lose what I felt when I was 9. But then when I went to Palace, and this is the problem I've got with Palace fans have with me, I should say, and Millwall fans, because they say, well, your first team was Millwall and you played for Palace. Palace should be a team. But my first team, what I loved, is Arsenal.
Yeah.
And it came at a time when David Rocastle must have been 14. So we're talking late 70s.
David's younger than you, isn't he?
Yeah. David's like 4 years younger than me, 4 or 5 years younger than me. And like when the estate heard that David Rocastle's gone to Arsenal, everybody in the estate started to support Arsenal. So Arsenal's our team. And then once David finally got in there years, because we didn't think it was going to happen for him. Yeah. Because those things happen, you hear that people on trial here and there.
Yeah.
And we didn't think it was going to happen. But when he made his debut at 17.
Wow.
You should have seen, honestly.
I was saying to Henry, that clip of Arsenal against Man United when he done that against Robson and Ince. Bro, we're talking about them two centre midfielders. We're talking about probably one of the best midfielders in England ever.
Easy.
It shows you the level that he was at. Is a total madness. I'm not even that. Just do that skill, then see Schmeichel off the line and do the chip.
Honestly.
Missed completely by Webb. And Rocastle, a central figure again. And he looks to trip Schmeichel. And it's in.
Do you get your chips from him?
But the thing about it is that it's not that you get your chip from him, because like Dave, when we was younger, because remember David was like 4 years younger, maybe 5 years younger. And when we used to play football up in our estate, the crematorium was at the top. So my age group guys, we'd all be there playing. And David used to come across with his mate, Kevin Arnold at the time, and his little men them. They used to be trying to go to the swings. Yeah. Like we used to take David and Kevin and put them in goal, because no one wanted to be in goal.
No one wants to go in
goal. So we used to put David in goal there and Kevin would be in goal, because they just, like I say, wanted to play on the swings and the slides. David would get the ball. We're talking about, so we would have been 14, David's 10. He'd dribble through all of us, score, and then just run back in the goal.
Was he better than Ince and Robson?
Wow.
I'm just asking a question.
You know the thing with, like, if I'm going to be totally honest, and I will be totally honest, skillful wise, in respect of technical ability, with like taking people on the skills,
better.
Yeah. But when, like, even that thing, I was watching that thing the other day with Rob's on and he's unbelievable player.
Captain Marvel, bro.
He was Captain Marvel. He was man of the match every single game I saw him in. And Paul Ince was my England team, like teammate and roommate for like 8 years. And I know everything about Ince. He was very underrated as an actual footballer. He's one-touch play, skillful stuff. And Robson the same. But David, technically, with skills and beating people, was better than them.
Wow.
Technically.
Madness.
We were talking before you came here, and it's one of the games where he had an outstanding game. But obviously, I wasn't alive when it was happening.
He wasn't alive.
In the last game of the day, season against Liverpool, Arsenal, where he had to score 2 goals to win the league.
Arsenal come streaming forward now, and surely what will be their last attack. A good ball by Dixon, finding Smith. But Thomas charging through the midfield. Thomas, it's up for grabs now.
Am I right in saying that was the season before, a couple of seasons before you
it was one season before
you
arrived.
Well, it was 89, so it was 18 months.
And we were discussing that moment there, if sort of social media and all of that had been alive and like TV was as good as it is to this day, would that moment been more famous than the Aguero moment?
Rooney goal was enough for the 3 points. Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
Kills it, bro.
Do you reckon?
Kills it dead. The reason why
I'm glad you said that.
Kills it dead, and the reason why is because as much as City have dominated, and they're dominating now, they're doing all the stuff they were doing. Even that season, remember, City were running away with it. They got dragged back by United. Yeah. United, they only lost, what was it, goal difference in the end? I told you, in the end, they had to win. They thought they lost it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we're talking about a Liverpool side that dominated the 70s, with an Arsenal side that had like the youngsters that came through. Last game of the season, and we're talking great Liverpool side, bro. And Arsenal had to beat them 2-0 away from home. It don't happen. Yeah. Last game of the season, you know, it was a.
Can you remember where you was watching that?
I was watching. You know what? Because I was still at my. So we're talking 89. So I went to I was at my ex-missus now, Sean's mum's house, and I remember I was there on my own, and I had a chair, and you know what? I had like 6 Fosters.
Good call.
Right. So it's 89. So it was like this Palace season was kind of like wind down. We weren't really doing enough because remember this is the last game of the season already. And I remember I had a chair turned towards the telly. I had a big telly, and I had like 6 cans of Fosters. Yeah. And I was just watching. And the reason why I was watching is because David's playing. So everybody on this estate always watched any game that he's playing which is live. And it happened to me as time went by. People would watch my games. But I remember watching it. And like David tells me about George Graham, when they said, listen, what we've got to do, we've got to keep it tight, keep the crowd quiet, see if we could nick a goal before half time or something, see if we can nick a goal, and then, after half time, and then we'll see how it goes. The pressure will get on them, and we might get another one at the end. And like they were saying when he done the TV, what are you talking about? You're talking crazy, this is Liverpool.
Yeah.
And in the end, they done it.
When Thomas scored it in your household, was everyone going sick at the TV?
Well, the things, like I said, I was on my own. I was bursting into tears. I was bursting into tears because, like, what Arsenal were doing with people like David Rocastle, Michael Thomas, Paul Davis, those guys from South London, the South Londoners, and they've gone and they've beaten the great Liverpool in the way it was. And like Henry said there, if it was in this time with Martin on, Martin Tyler saying Aguero, that would have been it. Because remember, just before that, Michael Thomas had a better chance to try and score, and he missed it. Yeah. And so you're thinking, well, that's it. They missed the chance. And then for Michael to finish it like he did. And I remember saying to somebody, even as a striker, when Michael got the ball through and went through, and then Bruce Grobbelaar came, I would have done it with my left foot. I would have lifted it over him. But maybe because Michael flicked with his right foot, Grobbelaar weren't expecting it, and it just went over his body and went in. It was the greatest ever ending to a season. It's only because it's not in the Premier League era why people don't give it the levels of respect that what they done against that Liverpool team with an Arsenal team that only 3 years earlier, George Graham had to change that whole team.
Well, it was a team of youngsters, wasn't it? I was basically having the argument with my dad. I was like, no one will ever beat that Aguero moment. He's like, and he was like, son, it's already been beaten. I need to put you in place. He was like,
Liverpool. If people are going to be honest, the Aguero moment was amazing. Yeah, it was. But remember, QPR had already gone down. QPR were relegated. Yeah, they were losing.
City were at home.
Yes, they were losing 2-1 to a team that already. Liverpool, that don't happen. You know what I mean? 100%. Liverpool got chased down by Arsenal, and then in the end, Arsenal had to go there to beat Liverpool 2-0 to win the league. It's a different scenario, and it's a better, for me, it's a better scenario, not just because of my Arsenal affiliation. It's just that it was amazing what they done.
When you was like around about 18, 19 years old, obviously I've been a footballer myself. People know who the top players are around that age. Like going up through from 14 to 20, the country know who the best players are. Was you ever one of the best players in the country at that time, 18, 19? You wasn't?
No, bro, because remember, I wasn't even playing professional football at that age. So I was still playing Sunday morning football, thinking.
Really?
That simply because I'm scoring so many goals on a Sunday morning. I went straight from Sunday morning football to Crystal Palace.
Mad.
Right, so then what happened is I didn't even think that I was a good player, because when I was playing against Sunday morning footballers, people are still putting cigarettes out and still doing stuff before they start the game. Yeah. So when you're scoring 3 and 4 goals all the time, you think, but look at the players I'm playing against. So all the trials I had leading up to like that age, you know what I mean? I failed. I never got through any trial. The first trial I got through was Palace when I was 22.
And at this time, Rocky was at Arsenal.
Rocky was there.
Was he in your ear saying, keep going, right?
Yes, because like we used to meet on the estate, and he used to have to walk over the bridge to go to get the 171 to go to Stoke Newington. And then I used to be coming back from the youth club where we used to play pool and table tennis, because like I say, I was older than him, and he was like 15. And he was the one who used to give me the advice saying, you're wasting time. I'm playing against, because he's playing in the reserves at 15. And he's saying, I'm playing against players in the reserves. They're not as good as you. You've got to do more, you've got to try. And at the time, so I was getting towards like 20s in that, because it wasn't long. I just not long done some bird. I was in Chelmsford when I was 19. After the Brighton, I went to a trial at Brighton. Then I got done for the driving offences. Then I came out. Then I just like started to work, tried to find some work, and I had to look after Sean, because Sean was like 2 or 3 years old at the time. And so I gave up on trying to play football, but I wanted to play Sunday morning like normal. And then carried on for a while, lost jobs. Then all of a sudden I got this unbelievable job at Tunnel Refineries, and they were paying me like £105 a week. And I said, this is it,
That's
man.
big P back then.
It's massive, bro. It's unbelievable money, bro. And the thing is what I was doing as well, I was still signing on. I didn't know if I was
them ones.
I didn't know if I was going to, how long I was going to keep the job for. But then while I was at that job, Palace, I was scoring goals in semi-finals and finals. And I had the job for about 7 months, and I was doing really well, maintenance stuff and learning bricklaying. And then Palace, just out of the blue, Palace, everybody's saying, yeah, Palace are involved with it. But I didn't want to do it. I turned them down 3 times, Palace, because I didn't want the rejection. Because when you go back to the ends, and you know what I mean, you fail another trial. Because remember, I've been trialing since I was 12.
Mad.
Right, and so I didn't want to let people know. So even when I went for the Palace trial, I didn't tell anybody. And obviously I went there for the 2 weeks after saying to the boss, when I met the boss by accident, my chance, because I used to do a lot of skiving, walking up and down the place, and then I'd pop into the canteen, and then he came in at that stage, and I was like, oh shit, he's caught me. So we're having our kind of lunch, and he's talked to me, and I was telling him about the Palace. Yeah, they've offered me a couple of trials. He said, well why don't you? He said, yeah, I've done. Then I told him the story about the rejection. He said, well, it's got nothing to do with it. They've seen something. They want, and so I said, oh, I'll do it if you keep the job for me. He said, I'll keep the job for a week. If it doesn't happen, you know what I mean, after a week. I said, yeah, but the trials for 2 weeks. He said, I'll keep it for a week and then let me know what's going on. And to be honest, I got in the trial. Yeah. You know, Palace took me on, but like they only signed me for 3 months. So I was still like thinking, well, I've still not made it yet. It's not done.
When did you actually, obviously, I've saw an interview before when you said that it was FA Cup final.
Yeah, man.
When you was sub, you started sub.
Yeah.
But you wanted to walk out of the team, didn't you?
Yeah. You were not meant to do it, but I done it.
Sick. You got to remember as well. I know today FA Cup finals lost its. It's lost it because when I was a kid, even you, it's a total madness. FA Cup's the biggest.
It's the game.
Yeah.
It's literally, apart from when I was a child, because remember, you see a couple of World Cup finals, and yes, you can't really grasp the magnitude of the World Cup final, but you know it's the greatest players and then final. But with the FA Cup, it was hours of what we can watch, and I watched every single one.
Well.
Yeah,
all
day thing. Yeah. So to be able to play in it, but I'm substitute. I'm thinking, well, I may not get back here. I'm not thinking I'm going to leave here in another year's time and go to Arsenal. I'm thinking I'm going to be here. And Palace may not have the opportunity of going for the final again. Yeah. And I said, I've watched this too many years to watch the man them walk out of that white tunnel. Yeah. That unbelievable, the cool football boots. You can hear the studs, the kit's all nice. I said, I'm walking out. And then everybody said, you're not allowed. I said, well, I'm walking out with the pitch. I'm walking with the team. I want to do the wave. Yeah. And walk along that. It was just like, I remember, if you see it, you'll see, because me and Mark Wright used to share like hotel.
Yeah. Bedrooms, yeah.
Yeah, and so what would happen was Mark Bright would talk about the FA Cup final. Wow, and I remember when we walked out, we got onto the dirt track.
Yeah.
And we looked back. I looked back at him, or did he look back at me? I can't remember if I was in front of him or he was in front of me. But we looked back at each other and said, "We're here." It was
mad moment, and obviously to come on.
No,
but
score. Kieran, this is when, like I say, I can look back now because obviously, while you're in it, you're in it.
Yeah,
you're not seeing what's going on. But so the Thursday. Let me see. So obviously my Palace stuff, and we're doing okay. People started to recognise me in and around my area because that's where my mum and my brothers lived. And so let's say the Thursday before the Saturday, I could walk down the street and it was fine.
After.
To see the Saturday, because remember we drew on the Saturday. We had to play them on the next Thursday.
Everyone knew you was.
It would stop the road. It stopped the main road in Brockley on Crofton Park. When I was walking across, me and my brother went down to see my mate Nelly down at the Breakspear Arms. And like it stopped the whole road, and that's when I realised that something.
Why did they do replays back then? Why didn't they do a penalty shootout straight away?
God. And the thing is that it's one of the things that you go on, you win things. Like I've won the Premier League, I've won the FA Cup a couple of times, won the Cup Winners' Cup, won the League Cup, won all the stuff, Golden Boot, what you want to win. But if I could have won the FA Cup for Palace and not won it, I would have been happy with that because it was an amazing ascendancy for me to go from Palace in '85 from a Sunday team to Palace to the FA Cup final and then to win it. But all I dreamt, I never at any stage thought we weren't going to win it. And so when I came on and I made it 3-2, that's why I believe that Alex Ferguson and Man United owe Mark Hughes the debt of gratitude, because if he doesn't score that goal, they were talking. I was at the Man United museum the other day and all the stuff was there. Mark Hughes literally saved the whole of that club, because if he doesn't do that, they were saying that if he lost that FA Cup, he might have got the sack, Alex Ferguson. Might have got the sack.
It's ironic because obviously you scored 2 goals against United. You always had, through your career, had great moments against Man United. So when I think back of you, I don't know what it is. I always think of, obviously, the goals and things. Maybe you used to have a little tiff with Schmeichel, always.
Yes, bro. But that was, you see, the thing with Schmeichel is, with everything what happened, we just had the natural...
Both winners.
Yeah, just the natural rivalry. I hated Schmeichel.
Yeah.
I hated Schmeichel, and he hated me as well. I remember there was, when we had the when I done the challenge on him, that was.
I remember that challenge.
You know, we had a challenge in the first half where we went in on each other so hard, the ball burst. It burst the ball.
I've seen clips of that challenge.
Bro,
and I was like,
no. But the challenge after, the challenge was the one that they said shame football and this and that.
Yeah, he's definitely offside. Then he's got in for the ball. It's a very hard decision.
If I wanted to hurt Schmeichel, I could have hurt him. I didn't want to hurt because his leg was stretched out. And if I was going to do something to him, I would have jumped on. I would have done it on his knee. But I've never put anybody out of the game.
Yeah,
it's never going to be my style. I was rough and tough with people, but I just wanted to tackle him because his foot was on the ball, and I jumped on the ball and spun him round.
Yeah,
and then I kind of said something to him and stuff like that, and then it kind of kicked off. But it was he was the one I wanted to score against the most. I never scored against him, funnily enough, in a competitive, apart from the Charity Shield. I scored a goal against him, and I scored a couple of goals in South Africa for the when we had friendlies. But that man made some saves against me, bro.
Bro, honestly, I think you think the greatest goalkeeper Premiership ever.
I think because I
He's up there, isn't he?
Easily. It's only going to be either him or Dave Seaman for me.
The
reason why I'll have to put Dave Seaman in and around him. Dave Seaman is because I was with Dave Seaman every day. I know how great he was. Yeah. But Schmeichel and what he brought to that, and then what he done for Denmark '92 and everything, you know, Champions League, everything what he's done. He probably goes. If it's me, it's probably be Schmeichel first, and then Seaman would be not far after him in the best.
Both amazing goalkeepers. Both amazing. Arsenal's team now. Yeah. What do you want to say about Arsenal?
Yeah. Let's take a natural progression from like talking about the legends of those days into today. Your thoughts on the last 30 days of transfer season with Arsenal, and just sort of the general standings of Arsenal this year, because it's a really interesting one. Because for me as a fan, I'm excited, but I'm worried at the same time. So I'm wondering what's like kind of your thoughts on it.
That's the life of a fan, especially. It's the life of an Arsenal fan who knows success, and we're still going through a period of trying to get back to where we need to be without having the backing.
Do you think we'll get back there?
I think it's going to take a few years. Of course, it's going to take a few years. Just to look at Liverpool had to wait 30 years.
100%.
Liverpool haven't got the money that Chelsea and Manchester City have, but the way Liverpool have done their business, because they've got good people at the management level, and they've employed the right people to do the right stuff. They don't spend money. They don't waste money. You know, like you look at, I was only talking about it today, Virgil van Dijk, and the way he's made his price tag it looks ridiculous now, is because Liverpool have targeted the right player for them. You know, Liverpool's business plan is to sell, and the net spend. So you sell a Coutinho, and then you're able to bring in the players and that. What would have happened without the pandemic? They probably sell Mane or Salah, and then they go again, because they can't, like I say, compete with City and Chelsea, but they're doing it because they've got good business people. Arsenal have got to make sure, and they've only recently got rid of a management team that weren't helping, and now you've got a young CEO in Vinay, you've got a young technical director in Edu, you've got a young manager in Mikel. This is going to take time, and we've got a young team.
We have got a very young team.
It looks to me like, you know, the people he's just got rid of and what he's trying to do, you know, I think we're ahead of time now, because we're in and around 4th place. We need goals. He's got rid of Oba, which is a shame. But at the same time, he seems to have put the faith in the guys, what he's got. He's gone to see Stan Kroenke, so he must have told him what his plan is. Kroenke's obviously given him the go-ahead to say, okay, well, if you want to get rid of Pierre and the rest of those guys to free up monies for the summer, something's going to happen. Hopefully, think something happens. Then obviously he's been given the green light on that. So we have to be happy with the progress. I said, if we get back into 6, that's massive progress for what we're doing, because we can't compete with them men. We've just got, like, you look at Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Erdegaard. You look at those guys, if the ceiling on them, because they're so young, is so high. If they reach their potential, we're going to have a team that's going to be challenging. So we have to wait for that to materialise.
Well, the average age of the squad now, I saw the other day, is 24 and a half.
24 and a half.
That is so young.
So, you know, with that kind of age group, it's inconsistency is what you get, because you're up and down as a young player.
It's the only reason for me that we actually bottled the City game on the 1st of Jan, on New Year, is just because of maturity in the squad and having sort of that leadership to be like, all right, we're up now. Let's calm down. Whereas we're all so young and fiery at that point. I just think everyone just sort of got a bit too excited.
Yeah, but the thing with that, Henry, is that you can't help but get excited because you're giving City, one of the best teams in Premier League era, a good chasing, bro. You're giving them a good game.
It's the best performance I've seen against City.
Absolutely. I tell you, it's the best 45 minutes of Arsenal I've seen under Arteta. We were fantastic. And, you know, you have to take that performance and you have to just look at all the good stuff that came from that performance because that's what they're capable of. So when you look at it like that, then you have to be quite positive. And you have to be patient. Our fans have to be patient. What would have been great is like when we went to the Emirates and we said, listen, we're not going to be spending that money anymore because we're doing the stadium. We're going to bring through young players, you know, Fabregas, Denilson, you know, those kind of players are going to come through. Bentner, which we thought was going to do some great stuff, didn't quite happen, but that's what they told the fans. So the fans were patient with that. Maybe they could have said something in that vibe so as fans would be a little bit more patient with what we're doing because we're not a million miles away.
No, I completely agree with you. I'm a massive optimist when it comes to Arsenal, and it's very easy for people just to jump on the bandwagon, just to be like...
Yeah, because there's so many different places for you to jump on a bandwagon in respect of social media. And I think sometimes you can get a little bit clouded because other teams are doing well. Yeah, and you know what I mean? Fans want their team to do stuff. They want to win, and we're used to that, so we need to get back to that at some stage.
My first ever memory of meeting Wrighty, he probably doesn't remember. Obviously, when you left Arsenal, West Ham,
yeah.
You went to West Ham. As a young kid, I was at West Ham as a kid. I remember in the canteen at West Ham, must have been about 12, 13. I walked into the canteen, all the first team were there, and you looked at me. I think you must have known I must have been one of the good players, young kids coming through. And you said, "Hey, come here." You called me over. I was like, yeah, obviously I'm gassed because obviously hero and all that, can't believe what's going on. And he was like, you took me to the boot room, bro. You took me to the boot room and you gave me your boots. And I was like, rah, this is mad. And at the time, you've always been known for Nike, but at the time you wasn't wearing that. You were in Adidas.
Might have been Adidas at the time.
You was giving me...
because at the time, like me and Adidas kind of had some thing because I kind of fell out with that Brian Marwood. He was involved with him. So I had all sorts of different boots.
Yeah. And I remember you took me in the boot room and it's Predators. You gave me your Preds. And you gave them to me. And I was like, bro, this is mad. Ian Wright's gave me his boots. And I went home to my dad. I was like, Dad, bro, I've got Ian Wright's boots. He went, yeah, you're lying, bro. Stop lying. I was like, honestly, I got his boots. And it was a massive thing for me. And I always like, you always make people feel special. And I think it's just your character. And when I talk to all my friends from the ends, everyone from the ends, I'm from South London.
Yes.
You're like Batman. You know what I'm saying? You're like a hero, and it's massive. And it's admirable to your character, and that's why you've always been my hero as a kid. And bro, just salutes, bro. Obviously,
it's nice because at the time as well, I was coming to a stage where I was enjoying it, and it's only because Harry was hard work. Yeah. You know, when you first get involved with Harry was like, it's like you're his long lost son. Then after a while, he kind of loses a little bit of vibe for you. So I was in a very good dressing room. That dressing room was full of jokes. There was a lot of good characters in there. And I was having a really good time. I was expecting to retire at the end of that season. Was it the next season, 99, 2000, something like that. But like, it was a really good time. I was in a good place, man. I was in a good place. I used to do that a lot. I remember because Jermaine just came there as well, you know. Jermaine Defoe.
JD,
Yeah, he came there. And I remember he used to come and do some finishing and stuff with me. And you know what I mean? It was a really nice time to be able to kind of be at that level of it.
JD, Jermaine Defoe, for me, when I used to see him in training with England, was always the most closest thing I saw to him to you as a natural finisher. I always used to see him working on different types of shots in training. When you was a player, did you do that after training?
All the time, especially once you go to England, which you'll know, levels. People could talk about like us not keeping the ball and not good enough, but like the levels when you got Scholes and Beckham and Anderton and Ince and Redknapp and all them man, and then you got Sheringham, Shearer. When you got all those players, you have to go to another level of what you're doing. So what I did when I came back from England, especially the first time when I was at Palace, I realised that I have to train at a different level. I can't take too many liberties with the amount of touches I'm having in and around the box, because what I found when I trained with England, you don't get that time. Des Walker's taking the ball off of you. So you have to train yourself to be sharper and quicker, and your touch has to be right. So as much as I used to work on the training, on finishing, I should say, much as I used to work on finishing, I used to work on the ball coming into me with cones in and around me, where I have to make it stick. You know, so I used to work on a lot of that stuff. And then when you finish, I used to do finishing, and then I used to do penalties.
So when you was at England, Paul Scholes was probably young then, was it?
Yeah,
Around?
Paul's, yeah.
Obviously, I'm from United background. Scholesy, for me, hands down, the best player that I've ever seen. And I'm sure if you ask any United player, they'll tell you the same thing.
Yep.
You ask Rio, you ask
Yep.
Gary Neville, Giggs, Keano. Scholesy was by far the best player that I've ever been around.
When you speak to people, I think I even heard Teddy Sheringham the other day, who I loved. Teddy Sheringham was one of the strikers I wanted to play with more than anyone. But everybody, you listen to them, Paul Scholes will get mentioned because when he came into the England setup, you just saw the quality. The quality was there for everyone to see.
Yeah, honestly, he
One
could
of the best
he could
players
do
ever.
everything. He was so smart. He wasn't fast. He couldn't run past you with a ball, which is natural skills.
His
Just
one-touch play and
Yeah.
his vision for long passing, everything was, he's different grade, different class.
Well, I saw him playing in what was it, in someone's I can't remember what game it was. It was when they were coming back, but he was playing for United post-career, and he just did this pass off the outside of his foot, and to Robin van Persie. And I was like, he's doing that retired, like 10 years later, 5 years later, and it's like the skill is just unbelievable.
Game came very easy to him.
very
easy.
I think it was
to him.
Carrick's
Yeah.
after he left United.
yeah.
So, right, currently we're making the move from sort of just selling watches and being in the trade
Yes.
to social media and to
Right.
YouTube. How did your move from football into like punditry and social media style? How did that come about? Was that always sort of a plan for
No,
you?
it wasn't the plan. I think that how that came about is because when you're playing football and you're doing interviews afterwards, and they see you do certain television, they see you've got some personality, the way you dress and stuff like that. So you do some interviews, they say, oh, it looks like he can do it. So you do some stuff with them, some television stuff, some Vox Pop stuff. They see you've got the kind of personality to kind of carry it off. And that just happened towards, when would I say? I'd say probably 90. I remember the first thing I done was Top of the Pops.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that hosting Top of the Pops. I remember that.
Posted Top of the Pops in a wig, in a big afro wig, and like it was just fun. I just had fun doing it, and then that came with that. You know what I mean? So then afterwards, you do the television shows, and then the punditry is the one I loved more than anything else. But I kind of got a little bit lost with the punditry because there was a time where I thought they was using me as a joke.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't get to do no real analysis, and you know what I mean. You get asked the question last, and by the end all the analysis has been used up, and you felt like you was more, like I mentioned, and I remember I got blasted by the BBC. They didn't use me for 9 years, and then ITV never used me as well because the guy who blasted me at the BBC went to ITV. My dear friend now, Niall Sloan, he's like a father to me now. It's amazing how things work out.
Yeah.
But he weren't happy with me saying I don't like the way punditry's going because certain people are allowed to speak and say what they want. Certain people just use as a kind of a court jester. And I've got things to say and he didn't like it.
I feel like more now, in this era now, you can kind of speak up more now.
Yeah.
100%.
There's
Which is
more power in your
more
in your
power.
voice.
100%.
Yeah, but because now the path's being led where, like, that's why Micah, Clinton Morris, everybody can be on there and be themselves on there and be accepted for who you are. As long as you come with something, you got to come with something. There's work to be done. You can't go on there with vibes. You've got to be going on there giving people insight. You have to give some people insight.
That's what I noticed. But how you mentioned how you sort of came onto it, I noticed that a few years ago with Micah Richards, that he was like he was just there on sort of on BT on Sky every so often, and all of a sudden he was given such good punditry and such good vibes and connections with the people around him. Next thing you know, he was there every week.
Because what happens is that his energy is infectious. People watching at home, it's something different. It's something
breath
different.
of fresh air.
You burst onto the scene.
Birthday, you don't remember my head on Villa? Do you not remember that? No.
Quite a few defenders burst onto the scene.
Well, hold on. I played for England at 18.
Bathing in that praise, Micah.
I know. Yeah, I feel a little bit embarrassed actually. Carrie was saying, and as soon as he said world class, he was sinking into it.
It's like you look at the reason why someone like Roy Keane is so revered is because he's not on there all the time, but when he's on there and when he's saying his stuff, he's on there obviously a lot more frequently now.
Yeah.
He's not holding back and he's telling you exactly what he's thinking. And people at home do not see that kind of truth and honesty where you're not bothered about what he thinks about what you're saying.
100%.
You see, Roy Keane was saying he would be swinging.
I would be swinging punches at that guy
This is a standard stay for an established international goalkeeper. That goalkeeper, I am fed up. That De Gea, the most overrated goalkeeper.
I remember after the Tottenham game,
Yeah.
Harry Maguire and David De Gea, he said he'd be swinging when he goes in there. You know, because it means so much to him in respects of what he's saying. And he's somebody that's refreshing. And people will watch him when he's on there. Micah, people will watch him on there because you get a nice energy off of them. And off of Micah. And you're going to get the truth of Roy.
Yeah, Roy.
No bars hold.
Roy has always been that guy.
Well, you've played with him, right?
Yeah. And he's been my manager as well.
And he's your manager at
Sunderland. At Sunderland.
But I've seen it. I've brought this up to Kieran before, but I saw something in, I think it was an interview or something that, when I first started working with Kieran, I was like, I've got to bring this up. And I was like, Roy Keane apparently told you off for coming in a fancy car into training, and because you were a youngster, he wasn't having it. That's all I saw. And then
that's a complete lie. No, but it's mad.
It's weird how it adds into the Roy Keane legend.
It's not even that. It's weird how the media can turn things around. I never had a fancy car at Man United.
Yeah.
So, and I felt at the time, media at the time was like always tried to portray young black players as cocky, flash.
Yeah.
I didn't like at that time. His era was just black, baby Bentley crew, whatever. I never had a Bentley. I never had one. Then I didn't get a Bentley till I was like 28, which is crazy. And I feel like this whole now in this generation now is a bit more real. Back then it was all like we didn't have a voice. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have Instagram and things like that. So now I can come out and say, no, I haven't got a Bentley. Roy didn't say that.
People just tweet that. If that happens today, someone just tweet, I don't have that car. So
if I'm honest, Roy for me was unbelievable. As a captain, he was the best. He just said it how it was. If you weren't on the wave, if you couldn't keep up, just get out of the change room, bro. You had to level up.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It's the kind of pressure you needed in the dressing room that.
Obviously, you're playing for the biggest club in the world, and he was just unbelievable player, such a top player. And obviously, he became Sunderland manager. And I was at Man United at the time, and I was 22, 23. And Roy called me and said, "Oh, do you want to come to Sunderland? They just got into the Premier League." And I was at like a crossroads with United. I weren't playing all the time, and I had the chance to go to Sunderland or Everton. David Moyes wanted me at Everton, and really Everton's a big club as well, massive. And David Moyes is a great manager, and it was around the corner. Man United around the corner, but I felt like I had that connection with Roy. I knew him from United. I liked his character. I knew that he could get the best out of me, and I went to Sunderland. And bruv, honestly, that was the best time of my career. At Sunderland was the best changing room, best vibes. I just loved it. The club, one of the best goals, and that's to heart. That's my club. Sunderland's my club. Right. Even though Man United gave me my opportunity as a kid and made me established, but for me that was my club, Sunderland.
Power it round the side. Richardson takes it. Oh! A goal from the heavens for Kieran Richardson. And if that is to end the drought, well, what a fitting strike with which to do it.
Well, you always said, obviously, Roy Keane gave you the chance. That you've said to me, Roy Keane, dream guest on our show. Obviously,
Roy's not coming on this show. He won't want to come on this show, bro.
You never know, Roy.
Listen, I would love to have him, but I know him. He would be like, "Nah, I'm not coming on, bro."
Yeah, that's how he is.
Yeah,
and what's good
cool
about that is that it's not like, oh, I'll do yours, but I won't do yours. He just won't do it.
He just won't do no one.
He's not doing that. That's not what he does. And what is great about Roy and why I like being on there, on doing punditry with him, it's because he won't let you rest on your laurels saying stuff that is rubbish.
Yeah,
he'll pull you up, and that's how it should be. Because remember, you're on there trying to give people insight, like I mentioned earlier, and you can't talk rubbish with Roy because he's going to tell you something. He's going to say something. He's going to slash
the biggest realist there is.
For real.
And it's good to see.
Ain't they saying that he's trying to be manager of Sunderland?
That's what I've read, that Sunderland, there's talks of maybe trying to get him back.
A few moments later.
But and I've seen people say, oh, the Netflix series, if they did the first season on Sunderland, on trying to get back into, obviously, I think it's League One now. They're like, imagine if a Netflix series of Roy.
You look at Roy, and Roy's been doing the TV punditry for a bit now. People talk about people who have gone past this certain date. No. Roy will always be good enough to be a manager.
Defo.
The problem that you have now is that it's the levels. And what are they going to offer Roy Keane? Because Roy Keane's got a massive reputation. And he's been doing the punditry. If Roy Keane goes to Sunderland and they haven't got the right recruitment people in place, the right...
He'll lose his rag.
All that stuff. Then what happens is that Roy goes in there and it doesn't go well and he gets the blame.
Yeah.
Now, I would miss Roy if he went.
Yeah.
I'd miss him to go to that for what? For people, if it doesn't work out because he hasn't got the right tools.
Would you think that Roy wants to be a manager still?
I get the impression that he's very passionate about the game.
Yeah.
I get the impression that it would depend on how they sell it to him, and those things have to take precedent. You can't go into a club just hoping that your coaching acumen is going to help you to make these players a lot better than they are and sustain that without the backing and monies to maybe buy players of that level to help you. You can't go in there and hope that happens. You need to go into a place that is well structured, know what they're doing, so then you add the manager in that can take you to the next bit. You can't just get Roy Keane just because of his name.
Did you ever think about being a manager?
No, because it's not. No, because my I'm too emotional about things. I wouldn't be able to. Sometimes you get a manager who you have to go into a dressing room and you can't tell the truth exactly. Yeah. Because you have to make sure you worry about what he's thinking, worry about what the players think. If you say something like this, and you have to go in there and you have to almost have to almost lie. Yes. Because you have to say, right, I've got to suppress these feelings because I've got to make sure that the unit stays together. So I'm not going to say this, and I might be able to say it on Monday to them, and when you pull them, and my emotions don't allow me to not say what I'm feeling because it's not good for you to be doing that. Yeah. That's not good for you inside to have that kind of energy that's just in there that you have to suppress.
100%.
And I don't think that I'll be able to deal with the press very well. I don't think I'll be able to deal with losing very well. I don't think I'll be able to deal with fans.
That's just great for you that you could even realize that about yourself, and you've got that sort of self reflection that you
awareness.
Can awareness.
And the thing is as well, to go into a profession where whatever happens, you're gonna fail. At some stage, you're gonna lose that job. I don't want that. I don't want that around me.
Obviously now, my what I do now, obviously selling watches, which you know about. Yeah. I've always been a massive collector of watches from a young age, from 18, or actually 16 to now. That's the whole reason why I got into doing watches. Yeah. Throughout my playing career, I'd go and buy watches, and people would say to me, like, other players, "Oh, where did you get that watch?" Yeah. And I'll say to them, "Yeah, I got it from this guy." And I saw like people didn't know where to get watches from. Yeah. And I found that little thing now. You know what? This could be my thing.
It's a little loophole.
Yeah. So it's weird because when I stopped playing football at 32, 33, which is still young. Yeah, man. Very young. And obviously I see a lot of my friends still playing now. But I felt like my transition was just it didn't feel like it was weird. Like when players come from Sky Sports, they retired, they pull it out there. Me, I've never done that because I didn't really care.
You just stopped.
I just stopped. Yeah. And my passion was so strong for watches because I love it as much as I love football. Yeah. So it was like I just got into my other hobby. Because football's doesn't feel like a job to me, football. It never felt like a job. Just the thing I loved. And obviously watches was the thing I loved. So now it's just like, bruv, it's just, for me, it just feels like a hobby. But obviously I sell watches to a lot of people, find and source them great watches, rare watches. For me, here now, look at these.
Plastic. What's that one there in plastic? Because it's so special. It's in plastic.
Not even it's so special. It's brand new.
Is it?
It is special. It's a 5961p.
Wow.
Patek.
Yeah.
Have a look at it. Platinum.
Wow. Look at the heck.
Tell me what you think of it. Initial reaction.
That's a daddy, isn't it? That's a gorgeous watch.
It's a dress watch.
It is. Yeah.
Looks like a bit of you, to be honest, Righty.
It goes with your outfit now.
It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. The thing of it is that as well, I love that strap line they've got with where you don't get rid of it, you will pass it down generations. I love that because I remember the first time, I can't remember how old I was when the first time I got my first Rolex Daytona. It's funny because got nicked out of Arsenal, bro. I had a gold from the club. I had a gold Daytona on a brown croc strap, and it got nicked. Room. Yeah, it got nicked out of there, man. It was like it was devastating. But I had a really nice collection of watches. But then obviously 2014 was a real bad time because I got robbed when I was away in Brazil. My wife got robbed. Yeah. And it was something that kind of because like yourself, I kind of collected them. I had some really nice old Rolex is I love Rolex.
That's your favorite brand, Rolex?
Yeah, I do love them. And I had really old ones. I had some really nice old ones. And I had a couple of, I had Cartier, I had Frank Muller, really nice pearl face Frank Muller. A 1954 Rolex I had, it was amazing. And I had the Paul Newman, as well. So I had a nice, and then what happened was when that happened, I thought to myself, you know something, for whatever reason it happened, and just to please everybody who's safe. But then I thought I'm only going to get myself a couple of watches now, and I've got them. And that I wear all the time. I want to wear my stuff.
So would you, like Rolex is your thing, even though Patek's lovely, would you always be, that's your go-to Rolex?
The thing is, Rolex is because you can wear it with everything.
Everything, yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, with all of them as well. I think my favorite. It's people like the Daytona, you know, because it is a classic. I think the Submariner Hulk with the green face.
What's great as well, by listening to your story just there, you're proper passionate about it. It's not like obviously you get your Rolexes from Rolex at list price, and you know they're worth 3 times, 4 times the money, but you're keeping them. They're sentimental to you.
To be honest, I'm giving them to my daughters.
Amazing.
I'm giving them to my daughters. They've already, you know what I mean? They've already chosen what they want.
They're already eyeing them up.
Yeah, Lola wants the Daytona, I think Roxanne wants the Submariner.
Nice.
But like, and the thing is, I give them to my son. Like my son, I bought a nice James Cameron, deep
the deep sea.
One. Yeah,
deep sea.
Massive. Yeah. Because he's like big, he's like 6'2" and he's a big guy. That suits him. You know what I mean? Like even with Brad, like I had a nice Royal Oak AP. I gave it to Brad because you know what I mean. Because now I'm not gonna have them like that. I want them to be used. I want them to be worn, and so that's like me. And I've got a really nice tag tourbillon. And people don't realize it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, because you texted me the other day and said, "Oh, Kieran, Omega Tokyo 2020, you really want that watch."
One of the most beautiful watches I've seen. It's I think they made it for the Olympics. It's Omega.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's got a panda face.
Panda dial.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. Yeah.
Again, it's the white whale. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to just chase it down forever because I'm not in no rush. I'm not going to go into the massive, like, you know, like this one, what you're wearing is beautiful. You know what I mean? Same with Henry wearing the ultimate. That's my ultimate.
Yeah.
But even when I mention it to my wife and the price is what it's going, she's vexed with me. But in the main, I will chase down that watch because it's the watch I wear because it's beautiful.
Okay, I've got a watch here. It's a Day-Date 40 Platinum.
Wow.
Look at the dial.
It's green, huh?
Green, Arabic numerals.
Oh my gosh.
Have a look at it.
That's probably...
Feel the weight of it.
Oh God. You see, now this is probably, again, you know, you look at it, and what I love about it is, yes, it's got the baguettes there, the diamonds. Are those baguette diamonds?
Yeah.
And, you know, you look at it, and it's only when you feel how heavy it is you realize what you've got. But what I love about these is that you could be wearing that and without the baguette, and it's just a beautiful looking timepiece. It's the same. You see that gold one there? I'd wear that gold one if I was abroad.
Yeah, on holiday.
Yeah, I'd wear that abroad.
That's a summer watch, isn't it?
See, that's the kind of watch. You know what I mean? You got your cool kind of like swimming trunks. I saw a cool picture of you one time. I think you might have had a gold Rolex on. You had your kind of light blue swimming trunks with a hat or something.
Yeah, definitely in Dubai. That one.
No, not Dubai, Caribbean.
Was it? And it might have been a white linen shirt, but like this color against white linen in the summer.
Yeah.
Again,
and it goes with our skin color.
And it goes with the skin color. But like again, like when you've got like I love this. I think when I was younger, I used to see them old gangster guys. I used to be wearing probably the Rolexes because I used to love the clasp. I used to love the bracelet. Yeah. And that's what really brought me to it. But then, like I say, my ultimate again is the platinum
Daytona
because it's a beautiful face with the brown.
Yeah, it's lovely. We've actually got us a little surprise for all the guests and all the viewers right now that we're gonna get Ian to sign a shirt. Which Ian, I'm pretty sure you've worn this shirt, right?
This is the one.
We've also got another surprise that Kira's daughter's going to bring it up.
Bring it in, Rev. Come rant.
So
come rant.
We're going to do a giveaway for you guys. So
big Arsenal fan.
All the details for the giveaway, they'll be in the video description. They'll be on our socials. So make sure to check that out. And make sure to get yourself in with a chance.
Shall I sign it, H?
Yeah, sign it. Go on.
I'll put it for you. You know it works. Look. There you go. Let me do it. Shall I just do it in this corner here?
I reckon under the badge.
Under the badge. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I'll do it here. Look.
Wicked. Lovely.
Saw it here first, guys. There it is. Yeah, so make sure to tune into all our socials to be aware of the giveaway. It'll be a week from when this is released, so don't miss it. Yeah, cheers for coming.
Thanks for coming on,
No,
bro.
man, it's been a pleasure, man. It's nice little chat, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for having me on the first.
Maybe in your first one, maybe in like a year's time when we're massive.
When you're massive, come back and say thanks, man.
You know,
I made this happen for you.
100%.
We're gonna make sure that you're the first repeat guest, definitely.
Yeah, thanks, man.
First guest and the first repeat one.
Yeah,
It's
cool, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, bro. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. This has been Broad Talks. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, put the notification bell on, comment down below, and make sure to give yourself a chance to win that giveaway. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Take care.
Moving, keeping it moving. What are we doing if we ain't moving? Hey.